Hi everyone, this is Tim, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a new backup program that promises to deliver a fairly straightforward disk imaging experience. The program itself is called Paragon Backup and Recovery 2012, and to be more specific, I'm going to be using the free edition. Now, this piece of software is a 98 megabyte download, and they're actually using CNET for their download service. Now, this program is free, but as you can see, when I started up the installer, it does ask for a registration key. So what you need to do is, obviously, if you don't have the paid edition, and you need a key, you have to hit that register now button that was on the screen, and it'll take you to this website here where unfortunately you have to fork over a little bit of personal information, first name, last name, email, and your location in order to get a registration key. It's kind of a hassle, but if this program it does end up delivering an easy disk imaging solution, I think it's kind of worth it. Just because a lot of the free utilities out there are pretty convoluted. I'm not saying that they're bad. They're actually pretty good tools, but they're not very user-friendly, especially to newcomers, where, just even the fact that they're offline tools where you need to, burn a CD and, boot into a live environment and, unmount the drives and, go through that whole process of, getting out of the OS and what everyone's familiar with in order to back up the OS just seems a little counterproductive. They are good tools. You can really dig into the, nitty-gritty options there. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that for newcomers and for, even people like me that haven't really dealt a whole lot with disk imaging, it's just a little hard to grasp. So, examples of those tools would be something like Clonezilla, where they provide a live image nowadays that you can download, and it even has a beginner's mode, but there's a lot more options that you can get into if you want it. But I really wanted to look for an online solution, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a connection to the internet. What it means is that you can make the backup of the operating system or of the drive that's running the operating system while you're actually in the operating system. So basically the tool is just an installed program on the operating system that you're backing up. Now the free edition unfortunately does not do individual file backup. It's only meant for disk imaging, but it does promise to support differential backup, so it should be a little quicker because you don't have to do the full image every time. You just back up the difference, or only the new stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to that website. I'll pull it back up just so you guys can see it again. It's this website right here, and I'm going to go ahead and punch in my personal information, and we'll be right back. Alright, and we're back. As you can see, I have entered my information, and it should be noted that you're going to need to provide them with a legitimate email, because that's how they're going to send you the key. Now, there are services like 10-minute mail and heck, just give them your AIM mail. Who the heck uses that anymore? That's what I send all the likely spam stuff to, but don't tell AOL that. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and check my email, and we will jump right into the installation. Alright, and we're back. I've since entered my product key and serial number, which they sent me in an email, and I was just able to copy and paste it over. So that's what I would suggest you guys to do, just because it's a pretty convoluted key. next step is obviously the extremely long license agreement. And what the heck, we're just going to agree to it for right now. Although you really should read that stuff. Who am I to tell you what to do? We'll just go ahead and install it for all users. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to need this in order to back up on Windows 7 or not. But we're just going to leave it unchecked for now, and I'll do a repair install and add it back in if I do. Well, I guess we'll find out together. So we'll go ahead and hit next, and we'll let it install. So, I'm sort of trying to play it a little loose in this little quick look, whatever the heck you want to call it thing here. Just because, I don't know. I tried to, set up some kind of formal video and it just wasn't really working. So I figured, what the heck, I'm just going to go ahead and record myself going through all this stuff. And, if I run into problems, it's probably going to be the same kind of problems that other users are going to encounter. So we might as well encounter them together. Obviously you got drivers and such that you're going to need to install in order for it to interface with the particular hard drives in your system. Oh, but yeah, I was going to say that the reason I'm looking into drive imaging is I recently, actually it was the first PC Perspective live video stream. I was supposed to record it, and my laptop decided to just take a dump, and couldn't get it working. Repair install didn't work. System restores, none of those worked. Fortunately, I did have individual files backed up, but in the end, I ended up having to just do format the drive and do a fresh Windows install, and then copy all the backup stuff all over, and reinstall the programs and all that stuff, and that just took forever. And at that point, I was really regretting not creating a drive image. It was always something that I thought was kind of neat, and something that I said that, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that next time I reinstall Windows. I'm gonna go ahead and get it set up exactly right and create an image. That way, in case something like this does happen, I can be up and running in half the time. Alright, so the backup program itself is now installed, and here we have the user interface. And it definitely seems to be rather straightforward. And of course, being free software, they are going to try to upsell you on the paid for version. And I think the biggest thing that I noticed when comparing the two versions was that the paid for version, which is about $39.95 USD, provides for individual file copy. A few other things as well, but I think that was probably the biggest difference backup wise for me. And in the end, I have pretty set in my ways in my manual file copying backup methods, so I don't really need that, but it might be something you want to look into. We got some tools here. Now this backup capsule thing is kind of interesting. It actually, from what I read, it's something like an invisible mirror to another second drive, so that if the first hard drive is taken out by I don't know, malware or whatever, and assuming that obviously the malware doesn't get mirrored over, the second hard drive will be able to instantly pick up and the OS will be ready to go without any real downtime. I'm not going to really check that out today. I might do that another time. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to go back up to the backup and recovery tab. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to back up, and we will see what we have to deal with here. Now, should be mentioned that Windows itself does have a imaging tool, but I don't know, it just seems really, I don't know, it seems kind of limited, and I'm not really sure, what all is covered by it. I did try to, I did use the, not the imaging part, but the backup part at one point, and I really didn't like it. So, my C drive here is the actual SSD where the operating system is installed. So it is the drive that I'm going to want to back up. Now it's not immediately obvious whether I would be able to just back up the operating system partition or not, but let's see. Okay, so if we back up the entire disk, it's basically going to do a clone, sector by sector copy, and then compress it. Let's see if we can change some of the options here. And let's see, not seeing any. Alright, go ahead, hit next. And not really liking the whole horizontal scrolling. Let's get rid of that. So it is good that they do provide compression, but what I'm trying to find here is just an image of only the parts of the disk that are actually already written to. So that would make my backup about 25-30 gigabytes, and then before compression. And okay, so I'm not writing it to CD or anything, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. But if you were writing it, if you were going to part it out and burn each part onto a DVD, or even if you got in on that Box.net 50 gigabyte free cloud storage space, you could set this to split the archive at 100 megabyte each, and basically upload all those pieces up there to their servers. And I don't know, they might hate you, but you could do it and have an offsite backup of your image. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it at normal compression for now. I might play around with good compression at a later point. I mean, we're reading from an SSD, but we are writing to a hard drive. I don't really foresee processing being too much of a bottleneck here, but I don't know, just for our purposes, we'll leave it at normal for right now. Alright, let's set some kind of password here. This option, I guess, isn't actually what it's going to be doing. I figured from the partition size that it was going to be doing a sector by sector, but it's actually unchecked. But that is an option there if you want to actually just straight up clone the entire drive. Not sure how useful this option is to skip the OS auxiliary files like the page file and hibernation file, but those can be created easily enough, so we'll go with it. Let's see. Basically, this is what's going to allow them to make an image of the drive while the drive itself is already, running the operating system that it's being backed up. They're going to use Microsoft's Volume Shadow Copy service to, copy the files over without needing to unmount the drive, or use a live CD like something like CloneZilla does. I mean, obviously, I don't pretend to be an expert in all this. I've just read a little bit here and there, and sort of trying to piece together, you know, with your guys' help here. So, you know, I mean, I don't really need to filter this stuff out though, although probably don't need to any of that, but actually I think I do have some Python scripts with that, the .bak extension, so I'm not gonna really mess with this stuff. So the next step is obviously to point it to the drive, or you know, other location where you want the image stored. And we're just gonna go ahead and store it to a local drive. And like I said, if you wanted to split it up onto DVDs, you can do that. So if you did have a drive that wasn't mounted, that would be the place to do it. But we already have the drive mounted, so we're gonna select local drive and hit next. And let's see, I want it to be on my backup drive. I have a convenient folder here for backups, and I'm just going to call it test drive image 4. I think it's the 6th. I guess we'll find out. Alright, so okay, that's really weird. I'm not entirely sure how they plan on this thing being 14 megabytes, but yeah, we'll see about that. Alright, so go ahead and hit next. Let's see. Did I mess this up? It's gonna be my comment. Yeah, this the free edition, I believe, does still allow you to schedule image backups and differential image backups, but not file backups. So I think that's good that they did. You know, they didn't yank the scheduling out totally. They just, you know, yanked it out for the features that are only in the paid version. So kudos to them for that. Alright, now it wants me to go ahead and verify everything, and I'm not entirely sure where the hell they're getting the size of objects to back up as 100 megabytes. I'm thinking I messed something up. Ah, damn. Objects. Oh, how'd that get unchecked? I didn't want to uncheck that. Oops. Yeah, that would do it. Alright, let's see. Make sure everything's still correct. Oh, wants me to... Oh, okay, see, that's a lot more reasonable here. So let's see what it is currently. Oops. Alright, so right now we're using just under 40 gigs, and the compression is going to knock it down to just under 20. So, it's decent, I suppose. Like I said, I'm going to play around with the good compression a little later. Let's go ahead and start this here backup, and see what happens. Alright, so yeah, this is going to take a while, guys. I did get a question, though, on my Google Plus thread from Justin asking whether this would allow him to set up his system and then, you know, recover down the road when, you know, Windows gets too crapped up. And the answer is, you know, definitely. Drive imaging is basically what it's, you know, made for, at least for, you know, us home users. Corporations use drive imaging to, you know, deploy all the necessary operating system and programs to, you know, their whole fleet of machines, you know, basically all at once from a central network drive. You know, I don't know, heck, maybe they even go around with flash drives. Not really too sure on how each and every company does it, but for home users, drive imaging is essentially that. It's our last line of defense in, you know, basically getting your computer up and running again. You know, it should be secondary to things like, you know, restore points, or, you know, just rolling back, rolling back restore points, or using the repair install methods on the Windows DVD. But, you know, if worst comes to worst, I found out personally that having a drive image is going to be really awesome, and it's going to save a hell of a lot of time getting back up and running, especially when it comes to things like program activations. For one, I'm going to actually need to re-download Adobe Premiere again, and, you know, go through all that activation hoopla. If I had set up a drive image, actually would have all my programs and you know, all the activations still intact. Now, when you perform just regular file backups, the activations and programs are still going to be sitting there on the disk, but the majority of them, basically any program that you paid for, some of the free programs will actually still work after you know, after a new install. You can actually go through and find them in the folder tree and run them. But just think of it, you know, general rule of thumb, you're not going to be able to run any applications that were backed up. So if you are doing backups, I would suggest only backing up your personal files, because you know, the application backups are going to be essentially useless. You know, you're going to have to reinstall them anyway. Now, I guess there's an argument for backing up the application settings, but even then, in that situation, you might as well just go full hog and do a drive image. So that's what we're doing here today, and you know, I'm sort of stumbling my way through it with you guys as well, and I don't know, hopefully you guys will you know, learn something from you know, me trying it out. Yeah, but anyway, this backup here actually isn't taking as long as I thought it would, but even so, I'm going to go ahead and let it run in the background, and we will be back very shortly to take a look at the final results. Alright guys, so the backup finally finished, and it popped up this little screen here saying that the backup has been successfully completed. And then for some reason it ejected my DVD drive. Not entirely sure their thinking on that, especially since I didn't burn a DVD. But alrighty then. I'm gonna go ahead and hit finish. We're gonna go ahead and let's go see how big the final backup ended up being here. Okay, so it's actually in its own little folder here, and it's in several files. Alright, so we have several support files, but the actual image copy looks like it ended up being just under 13 gigabytes, which is actually fairly good for you know, compression wise, considering we started out just under 40. So I'm actually not going to test the restore process right now, but it will definitely be something that I'll do you know, very soon, just to make sure that the actual drive image was done correctly, and you know, that it works. And that's definitely something that I would suggest that you do, is to verify that the drive image is correct. So you know, fresh install of Windows, you finally got all your applications installed, you know, you have everything, you know, in line with your settings, you know, everything's to your liking, and update it. Then you should make a drive image, you know, and then verify it. Basically, restore the computer to that drive image. Ensure that all your applications are still working, that none of your files are missing. Basically just make sure that it works, and because if you do it, as soon as you make the image, you're not really going to be losing anything. Time, but you're not really going to be losing any new applications or new files. Whereas if you do it down the road, you might run into an issue of you haven't run a backup in a long time, and you're going to be losing these files. Or even worse, down the road, your Windows install craps out, so you decide to, pop in the drive image, and it's, it's corrupted. And then you're basically screwed. Well, not really, because you have lots and lots of file backups, right? Yeah, I'm still working on that part myself right now, just because, in the great formatting disaster of 2009, when I lost most of my photos and stuff, I learned my lesson real fast that it really can't hurt to have your data in as many baskets as possible. So I think that's going to be it for today's little jaunt down drive image lane, and I think I'm going to sign off. If you guys have any questions or in particular any tips, I definitely welcome that, especially recommendations on other programs that you guys use for disk imaging. Like I said, I'd prefer an online tool, but I am kind of interested in Clonezilla as well. So if you guys know of any guides, just satisfy my curiosity there, I'd appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everyone.